Hello, I'm Will and this is the Podsquad, and today I'm going to be talking about Gears of War 4. To be honest, my first impressions, so to speak, are that it actually lived up to the reputation of the original saga and really had a better job of a campaign than Gears of War Judgment. When I was first looking at the game, being quite a big fan of the Gears of War saga myself, I had kind of high hopes for the game given the spectacular story of the previous few, and after the slightly disappointing story of Gears of War Judgment, I felt that it had a lot to live up to. I played the multiplayer beta and immediately I was happy to find that they'd gone back to their original engine, where you have obviously your shotgun, your primary weapon, assault rifle, grenades and a pistol, whereas with Judgment they only had two guns, which was different to how Gears usually was. Also, it was heavier than Judgment was and had a lot more cover play and stuff like that, which was as it should be for Gears, I always found. After that I started looking at sort of the story a little bit and things like that, and some of the characters that were going to be added to the game, and I thought that they were actually planning quite big for this game, which I thought was something that they needed to do, because once again, as I said, they needed to live up to quite a demanding reputation. The first day I got the game, I toyed around with the new Horde 3.0, which I think is actually really well done. It's got a lot more sort of scope than the Horde and Survival used to have, combining the survival from Judgment with the Horde mode from Gears of War 3. You can build barricades, buy weapons and stuff like that, while still getting classes who have special abilities and things. That gave me a first look at the enemies from Gears of War 4, the Swarm and the DBs. I thought that the Swarm looked very similar to the Locust, and that's something I'll come back to, and this won't be a sort of spoiler-free review. After that, I played some of the single-player campaign. Well, it's not a single-player campaign, you can play co-op, but I was playing single-player. Anyway, that's irrelevant. I found that the great thing about the story was that they actually, unlike several other new reboots of game series and things like that, they actually decided to keep a lot of the original lore still relevant and basically didn't retcon any of them, allowing sort of the characters to really sort of keep their original development and shine whilst adding these new characters that augmented the story quite a lot. The opening of the campaign I think was fantastic, which is where the new head of the COG, Jin, is talking about various different events in the history from the Pendulum Wars all the way up till Anvil Gate and then the fall of the Locust. During this time you actually play sequences from each of these major conflict sections, which I thought really helped set the scene and gave you a good starting point to flow into the new story of Gears of War 4. From there it goes on to basically explain the origins of the new Swarm and how these Swarm, as I said I'd come back to earlier, are effectively the next evolved form of the Locust. Once the Locusts were killed in Gears of War 3, they had to develop to survive without lambent cells. So when they crystallised after this, what the COG originally thought was just them dying was actually then going into an evolving state where they began to develop into this new Swarm. From here we hear about the new leaders and things like that, and how the Snatchers are snatching people. They snatch Kate's mother, and the story develops into them saving Kate's mother. They then go to save Kate's mother, and Kate is given her grandmother's symbol. She says obviously it belonged to her grandmother who she never knew. She turns the symbol over and it is the original Locust emblem, which was Mira's emblem. Now I think that this has acted as a stepping stone that will allow them to really move into a whole new series that will not ruin the first series, but actually develop into its own life and story, which I think would be pretty good. Of course, these are kind of just a weeks in impressions of the game, and on the whole I'd probably give it 7.5 or 8 out of 10. It's not as good as Gears of War 3, but it definitely has a lot of potential. That was the Podsquad on Gears of War 4. Thanks, please like, comment and subscribe.